What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got Cardano, Chainlink, and Algorand. I'm sure you're all wondering what these cryptos are up to. Why are they pumping? How high are they going to go? That kind of stuff. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, guys, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal analysis of these cryptos. Your analysis could be different, and honestly, guys, if it is, that's awesome, because as I like to say, the more difference of opinion we have, the better traders, the better investors we're all going to become. With that being said, let's jump straight into it here, guys. As you might have heard, Grayscale basically filed, one of this asset managers essentially filed for the first ever US spot Cardano ETF, which is of course a pretty big deal. I think a lot of people were waiting to see when this would happen. Of course, I do think that ADA has a good chance of getting that ETF, given that the crypto project's been around for a while. It probably meets the criteria for being decentralized enough and all this type of stuff. I mean, if Solana and XRP can get the ETF, then I'm sure that Cardano can as well, because at least in my opinion, it's objectively more decentralized than Solana and XRP. But let's not get into, let's not piss people off here. Anyways, moving on now to the charts, guys. This is where things get very interesting in my view. We're on the daily chart here, guys, as you can see, always on the daily chart. And as you can see here, guys, basically in late November, we saw a deviation above this resistance level. And then here, I guess a couple days ago, essentially, we saw a deviation below the starting point. So it's like a way for basically crypto whales to mess up the traders that are trying to go long above that resistance level, and a way for whales to mess up everyone who's been holding ADA or trading ADA, and they see it go below the starting point and they think, oh my God, it's over. But of course, within a couple of days, it's right back above that starting point. This is a nice little manipulation, which again is very common. I'm not saying this is specific to ADA. This is common for all cryptos. As you'll see, we actually see the same thing in Link. We see the same thing actually in ALGO's chart, which is pretty crazy. But regardless, guys, it's pretty cool that we got this kind of a manipulation here. And I do think that ADA is going to now continue rallying higher all the way up to this resistance level. Maybe there'll be a little bit of resistance around this $1 level, just because it's a key psychological level. But I do think it will hit that resistance. Once it does, that's kind of like the go clear, the okay sign to go long if you're trading, and basically aiming for that $1.75 target, which again I do think is going to be hit here over the next couple of weeks. I know I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now, guys, and I know it can be frustrating, but in crypto we do have to be patient. These short-term moves, especially when they're driven by these crazy liquidations like we saw last week, these short-term moves can be really disheartening and really frustrating. But as I've been saying, guys, this price action might be frustrating, but it is not bearish. Objectively, ADA is still in a strong uptrend here. It's still consolidating within this range with some deviations above and below this range, and eventually it's going to break out of that range and move higher, close to that $1.75, $2 range. That's not the cycle top. That's just my short-term target here over the next couple of weeks. And after that, we're going to assess and see what's going on once it does get to this target, and we'll probably be moving this whole structure higher, so to speak, with the next target being probably somewhere around $2.5. But we'll take things one step at a time. Of course, as you might have noticed, we were using Binance there. We have a 20% trading fee discount and up to $600 in bonuses. As I've been saying in every video, guys, and as I'm going to continue to say, these trading fee discounts will help you out a lot, even if you're not a crypto whale. If you're just trading frequently, even with a few $100s, those fees do add up. I know this from experience, so do take advantage of these deals in the description. They don't cost you a thing. The exchange gets a new user, you get a trading fee discount, and we get a cut of your trading fees. That's how the Coin Bureau makes its money. We're not paid by Ethereum or Solana or XRP or anyone. We don't care what crypto you like, so long as you're interested in buying or selling or trading. We're here to basically give you some tools to help you out with that, and we only partner with crypto companies that we truly believe in, and we believe that it's a win-win-win for everyone. And if it wasn't, then we wouldn't be as big, I imagine. Anyways, guys, with that being said, let's turn over now to Chainlink. Of course, one thing I've been mentioning now for a few weeks is that Chainlink is of course going to be integral to real-world assets, because it kind of provides these data feeds for these tokenized real-world assets to work on blockchains. And of course, Chainlink is really, cementing themselves, really pushing that narrative, let's say, on their Twitter/X here. Maybe I'll just open it up so you guys can see a little bit better. 4 pillars of on-chain finance: with blockchain, smart contracts, tokenized assets, and Chainlink, which I'll be honest, guys, is a little bit cocky, let's say, because Chainlink isn't the only oracle. And for some RWAs, I do imagine that there'll be other oracles that might be better suited for whatever reason, maybe just because they support data feeds that Chainlink doesn't. But I'm sure that Chainlink eventually, it goes without saying, it's the largest. It's a whole ecosystem. It's more than an oracle. I'm sure that some people in the comments are already angrily typing, it's more than an oracle. It's this whole ecosystem of stuff. I am fully aware of that, and this is part of why I do think that Chainlink is going to be kind of like the top oracle, especially for these tokenized real world assets. I'm not disputing that at all. I think it's 100% fact, which of course brings me to the chart here, and we're seeing basically the exact same thing that we saw here on ADA a few moments ago, where you can see Link went above this resistance level, a little bit of a way of tricking all the traders who were going long above that resistance level, and then, kind of taking them down back below that resistance, and of course taking them below the starting point. So we get a deviation to the upside, a deviation to the downside, and then we're probably going to see a continuation of a chop within this range, which of course the next target is going to be going back up to this resistance level, maybe stopping around the support level in the next couple of days here of around $22, and then heading up to that resistance level before heading to that $34 target. And of course, if it wasn't clear enough, guys, the way that I calculate these targets is I just take the starting point of this most recent move, the bottom range, or the bottom level of that range, if you will, and then I look at where the resistance, or like where prices were struggling to get above, which is kind of like the upper level of that range, and then I take the difference between those two levels and I add that difference to the resistance, and that's how we get the target. Super simple. It's what I do with ADA. It's what I do with all the cryptos that I'm kind of watching in terms of a trading perspective. And it does tend to be quite accurate, as we've seen with other altcoins I've been reviewing here over the last few weeks. Anyways, guys, I do think that Link is looking really bullish, and especially by the end of the month, I expect. Whereas with ADA, it'll probably be a lot of stuff around the ETFs. I do think that the primary catalyst for Link will be more related to announcements that are made at Ethereum's DevCon conference later this month, because of course Link is on Ethereum, and Ethereum is going to be playing a key role in real-world assets and stuff like that. And DevCon is, I believe, if memory serves, ETH Denver, not DevCon, ETH Denver, which will be between February 23rd and March 2nd, I believe. So in the next couple of weeks here, we should see ETH and other altcoins on Ethereum, such as Link, really perking up towards the end of the month. And I do think that this resistance target will be hit here, sooner rather than later. And of course, maybe there'll be a couple of days of chop there, or maybe it'll just blast through and go straight for this $34 target. We'll just have to play things by ear. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated. So moving on now to Algorand. This is where things get interesting, because of course, Algorand was kind of positioning itself to be under like real world assets and stuff like that. Some of you may have heard that there have been quite a few NFTs minted on Algorand as a result of a partnership with some airline and travel stuff. Not going to get too much into the details there, but basically that there's these NFT tickets on Algorand of all these flights and airlines. It seems to be pretty interesting. Of course, here the Algorand Foundation is hinting that there's going to be more companies joining. But the thing that really caught my eyes, some of you might have seen, that Algorand has really been pitching itself to be used to store data, or rather, like data from the US government, because I think Elon Musk had proposed putting everything on a blockchain to track all the spending and stuff like that. And I find it interesting that of course, Algorand did respond to that, but one of the things they've been posting is highlighting, hey, which crypto project in the top, I guess 60 in this case, has never experienced any downtime. And it's very interesting to see that the crypto projects that they've highlighted here, for one, these crypto projects, I do think actually technically some of them have had downtime, first of all. Second of all, what's really fascinating is that a lot of these crypto projects have close ties to to Asia, like to China. So I'm not going to go down any rabbit holes there. But the main thing in my view is that this is really underscoring, hey, if you're an institution and you want a reliable crypto blockchain, a reliable battle-tested public blockchain, then Algorand is probably the way to go. And I'm from what I remember from Algorand's architecture, the way that it's built is a lot more robust, in my opinion, than a lot of other blockchains, where you kind of have like these relay nodes, and I think it's nomination nodes. I can't remember that off the top of my head. The point being, guys, is that Algorand's infrastructure, objectively speaking, is quite robust, I would say, compared to other cryptos, where it's a little bit more unstable, and you can even feel that when you're using the chain. Whereas for Algorand, like, things work a lot smoother, so yeah, I do think that there's going to be more, let's say, institutional integrations, especially as regulations become more relaxed. I think Algorand is going to be perfectly positioned to benefit in that case. Anyways, guys, moving on now to the algo chart, and literally it's the exact same story as ADA and Link, which is so fascinating that you see this deviation again above the resistance, deviation below the starting point, and now moving back, probably going to be, clearly moving back into this range here that it's been trading in. Of course, the starting point, or rather the lower end of that range, is 32 cents, upper range around 52 cents, the difference there being 20 20 cents, and that would give us a target of 72 cents when we add the difference to the resistance. And I do think that this, again, just like with Link, just like with ADA, I do think that that Algo is going to be kind of melting up towards this resistance target here, potentially by the end of the month, and then heading for that 72-cent target maybe sometime in March. And I do think that I do think that Algo is going to continue heading higher. I'm not saying this is the cycle top. It's really funny how often I get this question, like every single video is like, so are you saying that's the top? No, this is just a short-term target over the next couple of weeks. In case you guys haven't noticed, I'm more of like a swing trader. I'm not zooming in on like the 4-hour and saying, oh, it's going to hit 40 cents or it's going to hit 34 cents or whatever. I'm really more focused on these longer term moves, just because I do think it lowers your chances of getting wrecked, and it also kind of keeps you, let's say, it keeps your expectations in check as well, because it can be really, it can be, if you're like zooming in too much or zooming out too much, it can give you too much, let's say, noise. I mean, I wouldn't say noise in terms of zooming out, but it can get you a little bit too excited. You just want to take things one step at a time. You know, like short-term time frames probably gets you too greedy. Long-term time frames gets you too excited, and then like when it doesn't happen right away, you get frustrated, right? And this way, this is kind of like a nice middle ground where it always kind of seems to be a couple weeks out. Of course, we do sometimes get like this surprise down move, but I do think that Algo, you know, objectively look at this, it's still in a strong long-term uptrend, just like all these other cryptos, and I do think it's going to continue heading higher. With that being said, that does bring me to the Coin Bureau Club, which I am going to shill at the end of every video here. That's where we do deep dives into small cap altcoins every single week. The way that we pick these altcoins is that we do an altcoin review poll, and the way that we add the altcoins to that poll, or the way we choose them rather, is based on our own research as well as the recommendations and research of our members. And then whichever altcoin wins is the one we review. We have a research feed where I'm sharing insights every single day, kind of like the type of stuff that I'm rambling about at the end of this video. That's the stuff that I post about in the research feed, and of course, our other members are posting some interesting stuff in there as well. And we have a team portfolio page where you can see which cryptos we hold, as well as which ones we're considering buying. I must say that I recently bought HNT, and it's looking quite nice. Anyways, guys, on the exclusive deals page, we have basically discounts on like crypto analytics platforms and stuff like that. And of course, we do have a members Discord where you can discuss the crypto market with us and ask us questions, and where I'm doing technical analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and select altcoins basically every single day. With that being said, guys, it's about time we got to some alpha. So, you know, you might be wondering, okay, what's going to cause the markets to rally here in the short term? I actually think like within the next 24 hours, I actually think that Jerome Powell's testimony to Congress later today could be a catalyst that takes crypto higher, for the simple reason that you guys might remember what happened when there was the Fed press conference, like when they made their decision on January 29th. Jerome Powell, in response to a question about crypto, he basically said like, yeah, like banks can serve crypto customers, which is super weird because the question was like, it was something like, are consumers at risk because of crypto and blah, blah, blah. And Jerome just kind of completely dodged the question and answered it in like a very pro-crypto way, which is fascinating. And when we consider that Congress, as you can see here, the Senate and the House of Representatives, Congress has all these pro-crypto members, and you have a lot of institutions that are asking for clarity from regulations around things like crypto and banking, chances are that we're going to get lots of questions around crypto during this press conference. And I do think that Powell's answers, just like during the press conference, this is in his testimony, but his answers in this testimony are going to be probably similar along the lines of what he answered in his press conference, which is going to be probably bullish for crypto. And not only that, but it's possible that he could make some comments that suggest that the Fed is going to be easing in response to like lower inflation or whatever. But all things considered, I do think that his crypto comments are the closer thing to watch. And I do think that tomorrow we're going to get a lower than expected inflation print, and that's going to be the thing that causes kind of like interest rate expectations to fall, and that's going to be the thing that really causes assets to rally, especially altcoins. Anyways, guys, if you did find that information helpful, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.